Okay, everyone. I don't know if you can hear me or not, and I don't know how to check, but I'm waiting to see if anyone comes in. And if not, I will get started. If you come in late, if you have questions, put them in the chat. But I need to know if you can hear me. And I'm just waiting for a couple of people to come in so I can get started. Because I don't know if something else is going on YouTube or not, because people go live in a minute. And let's see. I don't think anybody is right now. So, like I said, still waiting for a couple of people to come in. And I will begin. Please drop down into the chat if you are one of the people that I told I would be doing this. This jewelry lesson, because what I don't want to see, you know, is hi Riri, I'm glad you made it, hon. Um, I'm gonna start. I'm just waiting for a couple more people to come in. How are you doing, hon? You can hear me, can't you? And one of the things I want to say first is I do have an Etsy shop and I do have an Amazon shop. I have put my Etsy shop on vacation when I when COVID first started because there was so much going on and I was getting orders and I was on the hunt for Lysol spray. I didn't have time to fill no orders. And my Etsy shop has been on vacation since March, believe it or not. So, what I want to do is let you know, first of all, Riri, and anyone else who's watching, um, I have been making, hi, Anthony. I have been buying and selling jewelry, making jewelry since the 1980s, early 1980s, and very successfully, I might say. But what I wanted to do is share the knowledge that I have gained during all of these years regarding jewelry with you all, because one thing we as a people don't realize is that we tend to buy more costume jewelry than real jewelry. And what someone told me was a long, long time ago is when you buy good jewelry, it's like buying money, okay? And we need to start buying good jewelry that is of value. Now, I used to sell jewelry. I still sell it on my sites, but and I still buy it. But all of the jewelry that I have bought and sold and made over the years, I grew as I learned more. And there are always little tricks and little things that most people don't know because you can get taken also when you buy good jewelry, or people will tell you it's good jewelry and it really isn't. And I think what I did was I learned through trial and error, basically. But I had some good people advising me. And I would suggest that you not buy your jewelry at a flea market. You can buy it at the outdoor antique shows because those dealers are usually reputable. And even though I did a lot of my selling at flea markets, I sold mostly to dealers who bought and sold good jewelry. So what they would do is they would tell their customers to come to my stand because they were vouching for me. So you have to know your dealer. Now, the other thing that you might want to invest in, if you like jewelry and if you like good jewelry, is what they call a loop. And it's those little glasses that jewelers put up to their eyes, and they can see things that you can't see with the naked eye. And they're not that expensive. You can get them, you know, you can get the real expensive ones, or you can get, just as long as you can see what the jewelry actually is. Now, I'm not going to put any of this in the description. So if you've got a pencil and paper, um, feel free to take some notes because you'll need to remember this. And Anthony, I'm so glad to see you in here because I like to see young men also who purchase good jewelry and as gifts or for themselves or whatever. But you would need to get you a loop because some of the things I'm going to tell you, you will need a loop to be able to see what I'm talking about. So the first thing I want to get into is pearls. Now, how do you know if a pearl is a real pearl? Okay, you can go into any store and anybody can tell you it's a real pearl. But what the only way you can tell some if pearl is real is either by taking an x-ray or testing it on your teeth. Now, you need to wipe it off with some sanitizer or something before you put it to your teeth, okay? But when you rub a real pearl against your teeth, it's gritty like sand. If it's smooth, it is not a real pearl. Real pearls are not smooth, they're gritty. If it just rubs across your teeth and there's no friction, no sand, nothing like that, no sand feeling, then it's not a real pearl. And if you have some pearls at home, you can check and see. Okay? Now, the other thing about pearls, there are factory pearls where they grow them like on a pearl farm. And the really expensive pearls are not grown. They're actually found in, you know, randomly in the ocean in oysters. But on the farms, they put something in the center of an oyster and let it grow. That's how real pearls are formed. They are irritants, and the pearl begins to protect itself against the irritant and it grows into a pearl. But even the ones grown on the farm, okay, have value. Not as much value, but some value. But all pearls have that gritty feeling. And that's what you have to be able to test. Now, the other thing that you want to realize is that when you buy pearls, if you buy them in the store, the markup is about 1,000%. That's something else that you need to know as well. But this is a way to test. Now, the other thing I wanted to get into was precious metals. And the main metal that people usually go after is gold. Okay. You probably don't know this, but people purchase stamps and sell you fake gold, and you see the 14K on there and you think it's real. That's where the loop comes in because if it's real gold, it's not going to tarnish. With a loop, you can actually see where the coating or whatever it is starting to peel off. Okay. And so when you have your loop up and you see that, then you know it's not gold, no matter what their little stamp says. Now, the markings for gold are 14K, 10K, 9K, 24K, and 18K. But there's another one that a lot of people don't know about, and it's 585. Now, when I would go to estate sales, If people didn't see 14K, they pass by, or some kind of K marking. But if you see the actual 585 in there, they'll have that over there with the junk jewelry because they'll think it's not real. And you can just grab it, and they're selling for 50 cents, and you got yourself a big chunk of gold that you can either keep or scrap out. And antique gold, that's another thing. It may not be marked, and it has to be tested. And some people, I invested in a gold testing kit because I was doing it on such a large scale. I was going to estate sales back in the day and buying up the whole thing, everything they were selling, all the jewelry. I just buy it all. And I got some good stuff in there. But you can also take gold to a pawn shop or those places where they buy and sell gold, and they'll tell you if it's real or not. Now, silver is marked 925, 999, or sterling. And platinum, which is expensive also, is marked PL 999. So platinum looks like it's silver, and people think it's silver, but it's platinum, which is more expensive in some cases than gold. But another clever way to do it, which is something else that I learned over time, is to use a magnet. If you put down real jewelry and you hold a magnet up to it, the magnet will not pick up any real gold or silver or platinum jewelry. It'll just lay there. If it is not real, it'll cling to the magnet. So that's another way to test it and find out if it's real. Because people play games with gold and so on. If you got a magnet on you and it doesn't stick to the magnet, you can bet your bottom dollar it's not real. And so when you're dealing with precious metals, you really need to be careful because there are scammers out there. But the one thing you must also realize is that when you pay a lot for gold, the actual value of the gold that you can get your money back on, you can um, weigh it. And when you take it somewhere to sell it, if they don't like the aesthetics of it or the intrinsic value, they're going to give you, and that's what the pawn shops do. They give you the scrap value, the actual worth of it in weight. So if you go pay a whole lot at a jewelry store for gold jewelry, that is not really an investment because it is not the actual weight that you're buying. You're buying the what the artist did and that sort of thing. So you have to be careful on that. And when you do purchase gold jewelry, know your dealer, as I said before, because like I said, if you go to the estate sale and you grab up some gold jewelry, you can get the scrap value. But what the people who buy and sell gold in these stores, what they do is they collect a lot of it and they take it to the refinery. When I lived in LA, I would take my gold to the refinery. They have offices everywhere, and I would get the same amount of money that the um, stores, the shops would get. So that's what I want to tell you about the metal. Now, also, let me tell you this, antique jewelry may have hallmarks, okay? Because antique gold may not be marked. And that's where you may run into a problem, within yourself. If it's antique and it's not marked, there comes your magnet, and then you take it to the gold person and have them test it. But be careful if someone tells you it's antique and it's old and you have your magnet with you and it doesn't pick up because people will scam you. They will say, oh, this is old, okay? And it's old as new money, okay? So you have to really be careful when you're purchasing jewelry from a party who is not reputable. You have to know the person you're buying from, the dealer, the seller. And I am so proud that over time I established a very good reputation because I tell them in a minute if they say, "Is this gold?" I don't know. I'm not gonna sell it at a gold price. You know. So, hi Detroit, D13. It's all hot air. Hi, hun. Okay, and the next thing that I wanted to do and tell you about is Amber. That's why it took me so long because I was trying to figure out how you show this stuff because I see other people showing stuff on the StreamYard, which is why I'm doing it on StreamYard. And it's Amber. You can get a two-way polishing cloth as one strips and other shines for metal. Yes, yes. Anthony, you know your jewelry. You know some of the techniques. Good, hon. I'm glad to see that because, like I said, we definitely have to be careful, but we need to learn to invest and make informed investments when we buy jewelry, even if we're getting it for someone else. Now, I'm going to do a series of these because there's so much information. And as I told some people the other day, my relatives, my godkids, my family, they're not interested. They just want to come to me and say, "Is this good? What is this?" Okay. But they don't want to get involved with it. And I just felt that I have so much knowledge in this area, and I do want to share it because it was hard earned over 40 years, I think it is, since I was 30. Yeah. And I'm still selling jewelry. And I'll say this again, like Miss Brown, she was my landlady who taught me a lot of stuff about jewelry um, and antiques. It's like buying money. That was her favorite phrase. It's like buying money. And she was right. And to this day, I appreciate her because she gave me so much knowledge about antiques. And um, when I met her, I didn't really know. I love jewelry, but I didn't know a lot about it. And when she would say, "Now, is this glass or is this plastic?" Because glass beads are very are valuable. And I look at it, and and she hit me with them on my shoulder or something. She said, "That feel like plastic? Did that hurt?" You know. And when you get glass beads, they're cold usually. So yeah, okay, Mr. Okay, Anthony, right. Okay. And the one I want to get into is one of my favorites, and it's called Amber. And that's what's on the thumbnail. Amber is a tree sap or a tree resin that flows from the trees out into the sea. And I say sea, not ocean, sea, like the Baltic Sea and so on. And then it comes back up thousands of years later and washes up onto the shore. And they get it and they make, um, jewelry or whatever from it. In Russia, during the times of the Tsar, they had, and they've made a replica of it. They had a whole room called the Amber Room where everything was made of amber, even the walls. Amber is a precious gem, but most people don't know about amber, okay? Because it's lightweight, it looks like plastic, but it's not. And to confirm that, you can go to eBay right now, type in Butterscotch Amber, and you will see that even sometimes one bead will sell for $1,000. Just one bead. It's very expensive and it's very sought after. Now, amber is lightweight, very lightweight, and there are several ways to test it. But again, you have to be careful because they make knockoffs. Now, I'm going to try this, you all, and I hope it works because this is what I worked on most of the afternoon to get it for you, this share screen thing. Let's see. Um, let's see. Share screen. Okay. Let's see. Chrome tab. Um, let's see if this works. All right. Let's see. Can you all see it? Can you see that amber stone? Can you, let's see. Can you see that? That is one amber, raw amber, but it's polished bead. That's what amber looks like. And as I say, this is very, very expensive. And again, you can always Google amber to look. Okay, that's one. All right, let's see. Let me find the other one for you. Excuse me for being a little slow on this because I've never done this before. Um, okay. Let's see. All right. Okay. Okay. It's not coming up now. I'm trying, you guys. But it did it for one. Let's see. Maybe it doesn't want that one. Um, okay. That's Butterscotch Amber. That's just a pendant. You see what they're selling it for? $599. It's old. It looks like this part of it, the metal is probably sterling, but that's butterscotch amber. That's my favorite. Okay. And butterscotch amber is usually antique because back in the 1920s and the late 1800s, they would make beads. Some of them are oval shaped. And butterscotch amber, I like it because it looks like butter or something. I just love it. And my experience with amber was began with I just became fascinated with it. And I made a lot of amber jewelry. I would find broken beads and you know, to this day, with let's say like last year, I was selling just loose beads of amber. The last amber bracelet I sold, I think it was yeah, it was earlier this year, I believe, that I put together. And I sold that bracelet for $250. And the beads were not as large as this. They were small, small beads. And it's very expensive. But when you get amber, you have made a good investment. And it is something that everyone, Hi Mysterious Mermaid, um, everyone is looking for. And believe you me, and I got so good at it back in the day that other vendors were coming to me asking me, "Is this amber?" And, I could spot it in a minute and say, "No, that's not amber," or "Yeah." Or I say, "I think it is," because, if I wasn't sure. But it is something that most people don't know about. And this is something that you can invest in, and you can Google it yourself. But like I said, go to eBay and see what they're selling it for, and you will see just loose beads selling for thousands and thousands of dollars. Okay. Now let me see. I think I've got one more for you all. Um, let's see here. Can I do this? Gorgeous amber pendant. Well, let me see. I think is that okay, this is another amber pendant, okay? And Can you see it? Let's see. I don't know. Let's see. Okay, that's another form of amber. And this is the kind you see usually these, it's newer than the butterscotch. And some amber has insects in it. What you have to be careful of is that some people have learned how, in fake amber, they have learned how to make it up and put an insect in it. So you have to be careful of that too. Amber is very, very uh, difficult to identify if you're not an expert at it. One thing that I have done and others do is we take a small little pen and we will heat the pen up and just pierce it just a little bit. And if it smells rancid, it's plastic. If it smells sweet, it's amber. But, this is not the kind of amber I usually deal with. I usually deal with the older amber, but you can also go to eBay and other places from the reputable dealers. Usually they're overseas, and you can get beads from them if you want to make jewelry or if you want to get a necklace, but they are very expensive. But amber has only increased in value. So that's something else you want to consider. Okay. And I think that's all of the photographs I have for you, including the one that's on the thumbnail. So if you ever decide you want to, look at jewelry, because one thing people do is people like me who buy amber, um, they'll have it over with the plastic jewelry. So it won't be expensive if you go to an estate sale and um, they'll have it for $2 or $3. Honey, I grabbed that stuff up so quick and it would be real amber. And they do sell for thousands of dollars. I know people who don't even make bead, beaded amber necklaces anymore. They just take the beads and sell them on eBay. Okay. And you have to learn the weight. Like I have a scale because you can price it by the grams. But if you go to eBay and you click on Butterscotch Amber, then go to click on sold, and you can see what it is selling for. But amber, when it is um, made up, I like to use gold filled or sterling or real gold spacers, real gold or gold filled um, clasp. The findings, help increase the value. I don't have a photograph. I'd have to, I guess, reopen my Etsy shop or something and get in there and show you a photograph of the amber bracelet that I just sold. Well, not just sold earlier this year. I think it was in January or February. And my Amazon shop, I think it's still, and it's under, only one jewelry by Ray Allen on Amazon. And I think that it is still, there's a picture of it on there, but I think I put sold by it already because I can't remember if I sold it on Etsy or on Amazon. But anyway, I didn't want to keep you all long, but I did want to share this with you. And let me see, the old versus new. Um, I think I told you how amber is made. Yeah, but that's a precious stone, a gem. It's considered a gemstone, and a lot of people don't even know about it. A lot of us don't even know about it. A lot of my people don't even know about it. And I want you all to know, when you see Nancy Pelosi and you see Oprah and you see these orange beads on them or these butterscotch colored beads, that's amber, okay? And that's real amber. And so when you see it, you'll know it and you can have it. And it says a lot about you when you walk out and you got on some real amber, you're going to get some compliments. I used to sell at the BX Amber, the BX at the Air Force bases, um, and at the BX, and they can get any kind of jewelry from all over the world. But they would buy my jewelry because it was handmade and it was unusual and unique. And I was never able to keep any of the amber pieces that I either had made or I was reselling. So when you go out there and you're investing in jewelry, please stay away from new costume jewelry. I'm going to do a lesson on older costume jewelry because that's selling for as much as some diamonds are. So don't get rid of the old costume jewelry. And old to me is 1940s, 50s, 1960s. Okay. Um, that's the older costume jewelry, and that's valuable. But going to these little places and buying, you know, costume jewelry that is made out of fake metal and so on, you don't even need that. Try to invest in real jewelry. When you give a gift, try to give someone something real, even if it's not expensive. Sterling silver jewelry is not as expensive as gold, but it's real, and that's the thing we have to get into. Anybody have any questions before I close this out? Let's see here. I don't know if I can do. Oh, I learned how to do that tonight, you guys. Okay, let's see here. Oh, I like being able to. I was wondering how they did that. Let's see. You said you have, Anthony. You said you have about five figures in pieces you collected through the years. Oh, thank you, hon. I'm glad you enjoy my channel. I really am. Let's see. Yeah, okay. You're welcome, Riri. And thank you all for coming over. Now, I don't have a Cash App because I heard someone say they have access to your bank or something, and I just got rid of mine. Now, if you want to donate to me, you can do it. It's on the banner. Um, PayPal, you can find it through that email address, relin2012 at yahoo.com. It's not required. Appreciated, but not required. Which site are you talking about, Riri? The Amazon site is Only One Jewelry by Ray Ellen. The um, avatar you always see when I'm in chats and so on, that's the my business logo on Amazon. My Etsy shop is called Jewelry Statements, and that's where I go back and forth with that. Okay, yeah, and but as I said, my Etsy shop is has been on vacation since um, since March. Because, like I said, I was looking for Lysol spray. I didn't have time to fill no orders or anything. But when purchase your loop and that sort of thing, it will be, you know, very helpful to you. Let's see. Yes, it is. It sells for more than diamonds, as a matter of fact. you know. But there's also amber that's called cherry amber. It's a resin. You'll find most of that was made in the 1920s and in the Victorian era, and it's a cherry color. Then you have the amber that's um, Tibetan amber. You've got African amber. You've got what other kind? Chinese amber. You've got South American amber. The most valued is African amber and Russian amber, which is where you get the butterscotch amber. Please go look up on Google Amber Room in Russia, okay? And you will see how much they adored amber, but it was so plentiful for them, you know. But yes, it is like the diamond of today. It sells for way more than diamonds. It doesn't weigh as much as diamonds or anything, but it sells for way more. Like I said, you can go on eBay and you can see what it is actually sold for. And, once you learn how to identify it, if you go to estate sales, if you go to yard sales and you get to know it and you pick it up, you know, and you can also have it restrung. I had, then other vendors back in the day that I would restring beads for. I don't do that anymore, but I did it back in the day. So anyway, I hope you all have a beautiful evening. I hope you got something out of this. Let me know if you did, and I will be doing lesson number 2. I'm not going to say when, but I do want to share this information. Hi, Shauna. How are you, hon? Carmel Leo. And please catch the replay, hon. Um, if you have any questions, you can regarding this, you can come back here because I'm not going to put any of this information in the description, but you can leave a comment as a question, and I'll be glad to answer it for you. So anyway, you all, I'm going to let you go. Have a beautiful evening, and I hope I've helped you. You know, let's see. What did you say, Anthony? Oh, thank you, hon. Yeah. Um, yeah, my like I said, I have a lot of them on my Etsy, which is on vacation, and I'm not really taking any orders either on Amazon right now, but um, you can see what some of the things on there. And on my channel, I have a few of the pieces, but they have sold already. But you can see the type of work I do. I did a lot of work with African beads because I started researching them. Beads from the African trade era and selling those to collectors and that sort of thing. And I want to get back into it. I just have not with this COVID and having people pass away and trying to protect. I just haven't had time to really deal with it. But thank you so much. I appreciate your support. So everyone have a great evening and have beautiful, beautiful thoughts in your mind and find a reason to laugh and smile. Okay. Good night. And Mysterious Mermaid, thank you, hon. Thank you, everyone, for showing up.